Morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're at somewhere pretty incredible. We are at a place called Lake Bled in Slovenia. You've probably seen this little church here before. Now it's actually day 2. We got here yesterday and we had a really good time. We had really good weather, which isn't supposed to last that long. And I'm here with my Leica M11, I've got my 28mm Ultron, my 50mm Summilux, and I've also got a 90mm Chron that I'm messing around with again from West Yorkshire cameras. It has been pretty nuts. We did 2 laps of the lake yesterday, and we also went up to the castle, which is like up here. And if you can see it, it's up there. The whole trip so far has just blown my mind, and it was a long day yesterday. We got up at like 3 AM for the flights, and we then watched the sunset. Got some great pictures at sunset. And now it's sunrise. We've gotten up at 6 AM to continue our trip around Slovenia. So we're here for a couple more days, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. Well, that sunset this morning was ridiculous. It was so nice out there. Got some of the best images that I think we're going to get this trip. Now that guy had no idea just how good the photos were. He hadn't looked at his raw files yet and edited them. Because I think the images that I took that morning in that little 10-minute period were actually some of the best pictures, not that I'd taken during the trip, but I took for maybe the last couple of years. This image in particular is one of my absolute favourites. I love the reflection in the water, and I love how straight across the middle of the image, the mist coming up off of the lake makes a really hard white line that splits the image perfectly in two. That guy had no idea that he'd taken, I think, maybe my favourite picture from the last 2 or 3 years. So yeah, back to the video. But what we're going to do this morning is get one of these boats out here, just outside our hotel, and actually venture over to the island in the middle of the lake where the church is. The only island in Slovenia. So we're going to work out how to get one of these boats and yeah, get some pictures shooting in the opposite direction. When you get over to the island, one of the obvious things you see straight away is a massive flight of stairs up to the church. Now the rules were, back in the day, that you'd have to carry your bride up to the top if you wanted to get married in the church. Something else you could do was actually go into the church and ring the bell. We'd noticed on previous days that the bell seemed to be ringing all of the time, and this is why. Something else that I was really enjoying whilst we were at Lake Bled was taking photos of the boats. They're such an iconic part of the lake, but framing them up and getting up close to them was something that I was really enjoying. The details on the boats are incredible, and they give you a really good opportunity to add some bright colours into your images. I loved taking photos of the boats throughout our few days in Lake Bled. And as a little bonus, the ice cream at the top, quote from Claire, is the best she's ever had. A little bit ridiculous, but we are walking around something called Vingar Gorge, and look at it. It looks nuts. But they make you wear these orange helmets, which makes you look like a little bit of a helmet, for just 10 euros, this has been pretty nuts. Honestly, guys, Slovenia has not disappointed. It has been incredible. And it's this weather, I don't even see it, heavy rain is apparently what we call that. So, yeah, we are using the 28mm again. I found myself basically this whole trip so far living out of using a 28mm. The 90, I've really struggled to get some use out of. Occasionally used the 50 whilst I was at Lake Bled, but the 28 has been an absolute trooper again. Part of me kind of misses the 35mm. But yeah, I have no idea how the audio is on this, but have a look at this. I think we've been walking through the gorge now for maybe 20 minutes and it's still going. It's one of those places that I think on camera, it just doesn't do it justice. The place is so cool, but I feel like maybe it's just my photography is not good enough. But you know what I mean, right? Some places you go, it doesn't matter how good your photos are, it just doesn't seem to do it justice. Like, look at the track going past me. So, enjoying this a lot, and hopefully my photos look good, but I just have this feeling that they're not going to be making this place look as good as it actually looks in real life. It's big. And I kind of wish I had the 21mm still that I had the other week, because I think that 21mm would have helped show how big it is, maybe add a bit of scale. Slovenia reminds me a little bit of Scotland. It seems to not matter what direction you walk, it's always up. I swear you're just forever walking uphill and never downhill. We've lost the helmet, we finished the gorge walk, so now we're on our walk back to the start, which takes over twice as long as it does to actually walk through the gorge itself. A lot of people complain about how bad this walk is back, but we just had a little beer stop. What more could you need? I must say the scenery is hardly bad, is it? But yeah, some more photography opportunities, just a little bit different to before. It's a bit more rural, but the views are insane. Like that mountain in there, I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was 2.5 kilometers high. So it makes anything in the UK seem tiny in comparison. So it's the morning of day 3 and the weather today is supposed to be horrendous, like heavy rain the entire time. So we are quickly getting a walk in before breakfast. It's a bit dark and gloomy, it feels very different to the last couple of days, but I'm hoping we've got some nice clouds rolling in over the trees and cliffs in the background behind. Let's go and find out. There's a little bit of mist coming in at the back, but annoyingly the way we're walking is moving it more and more to the right rather than to the left. You can't really go to the right and still see the church. It's now the afternoon. We successfully drunk some beers, went back to the hotel, drunk some more beers, and it looks like there was a little break in the rain. Turns out, not really, but we are going to try and get some photos because it feels like we should get some photos rather than spend the whole day tucked away inside our hotel, because that's all we've done so far and we feel a bit bad for it. So back out in the rain we go. I definitely think this is a downside to Bled. When the weather's bad, there's not that much left to do. We've struggled a bit today because basically everything you want to do is outside, and rain like this, a lot of it gets cooled off. Like the gorge we did yesterday in bad weather like this, it's just closed. So we've definitely struggled, but that's why we crammed so much into those first couple of days. It was non-stop. To be honest, we probably needed the rest day that we've got from today, but we do go to Ljubljana tomorrow, so it should be a little bit easier in the rain there, nip in and out of places. But I kind of feel like I really needed this walk. It kind of doesn't matter that it's raining, it just feels nice to be out and about. I don't know what you guys are like, but when you're on holiday, I feel like you need to get out and do stuff. Being cooped up in the hotel room with a beer, which was nice, just doesn't feel right. So this little lull in the rain has been very needed. It means we get to take in this lake one more time. I don't know how well you can see it on this little camera, but you'll see it in the pictures. All of the clouds are coming in over these mountains here and on this side as well. And there's loads of layers to it. I am so glad we come out for this. And the rain has kind of stopped as well. And it's just a completely different vibe to how it was yesterday. It's honestly so nice. I feel like the 50s felt better today. 28 yesterday just to get it all in, but the 50 today, because I feel like the 50 means you can actually get close enough that you can see all of the details. But yeah, look at that. Looks nuts. This weather is perfect for monochrome. Here's a couple of images from the M10 mono. They're just M11 ones, edited to black and white. But I am going to be doing a video where I compare the M11 and the M10M side by side, same images in the future, because I'm interested to see how much of a difference there actually is between the two. I feel like having used the M10M for a month, there's actually a lot of positives there. Be interesting to see exactly side by side how they stack up. So yesterday we went from Lake Bled to Ljubljana, and we got there via just the bus from the bus station. Really cheap, €5. We got here yesterday. We just had a bit of a mooch around. I don't think there's that much to do for like the 2 days that we're here, so we purposely didn't do too much yesterday. And we've woken up this morning, grabbed a coffee, and we're now walking up to the castle. Managed to find yet another hill in Slovenia. Looks really pretty on the walk up, and I'll link the coffee shop because the coffee shop was banging as well. In the end, we decided not to go in the castle. It's just more about the views than anything else. Sometimes it feels like you get stuck in places, doesn't it, for too long. So we're just out walking around. The views were pretty good from the top without going in as well. If you do go in, there's definitely some slightly better views, and it wasn't that expensive at €12. But yeah, we just wanted to keep walking, keep exploring. It says there's a little vineyard towards the end here somewhere, so we're just looking for that now. But yeah, it's been alright. It's been alright. I tried to use the 90mm whilst we had some of the views that West Yorkshire cameras have sent me. I'm really struggling with it. Like 90mm is just so long in my mind that I'm just struggling to find a use for it at the minute. I feel like most of the time that I want 90mm in length, I would just use a 50mm crop. Having a third lens at 90mm, yeah, just struggling to find much use for it at the minute. And that just about rounds out our trip in Slovenia. We had an incredible time in Slovenia, and we absolutely loved Lake Bled. And taking some of my favourite pictures from the last couple of years just makes the trip feel even more special. Even though the weather kind of affected our trip a little bit in terms of what we had planned, I do think it affected the photos in a way that made them even better. Having the really bright sunny days and the really rainy days added a bit of contrast to the images and really made them look good. Now, before you guys go, I do want to point something out, and that's the fact that I know for a fact, based on my analytics, that loads of you guys come back and watch my videos over and over again, and you haven't hit that subscribe button. So if that is you, please consider hitting subscribe. We've got a couple of cool trips coming up. I got back from the Nürburgring, and I cannot wait to show you the photos and videos from that trip in particular. So hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next video, because you're going to click that sub button, right? Cheers.